Did you know the Arctic is home to a powerful predator that's also a surprisingly gentle parent? Let's explore the incredible world of the polar bear. Polar bear, an iconic symbol of the Arctic wilderness, the polar bear is the world's largest land predator and the undisputed king or queen of the Arctic, depending on who you ask. These magnificent creatures are perfectly adapted to survive in some of the harshest conditions on Earth, with thick layers of blubber and fur that keep them warm in sub-zero temperatures, and large paws that act like snowshoes to help them navigate the icy terrain. But despite their imposing size and strength, polar bears are surprisingly good parents. That's right. Despite being one of the most feared predators in the Arctic, these bears are known for their dedication to their young. While male polar bears are usually solitary, mother polar bears are incredibly protective. They care for their cubs alone, keeping them warm and teaching them how to survive in the frozen wilderness. And they'll even take turns keeping their cubs warm while the other parent goes out to hunt. And those baby polar bears, also known as cubs, are incredibly cute. They're born with thick white fur and spend their first few months learning how to walk, swim, and, most importantly, how to hunt from their mothers. But not all polar bears are created equal. In fact, there are actually two distinct populations of polar bears, those found in the Arctic Ocean and those found in the Hudson Bay. And these two groups of bears have very different lifestyles and behaviors. The Arctic Ocean population is larger and spends more time on the ice hunting for seals, while the Hudson Bay population is smaller and spends more time on land. But no matter where they live, all polar bears are facing a common threat: climate change. As the Arctic ice melts, polar bears are losing their hunting grounds and their populations are declining. So, what can we do to help these magnificent creatures? Well, for starters, we can raise awareness about the threats they face and support organizations that are working to protect them. We can also reduce our own carbon footprint by making changes in our daily lives, like using less energy and reducing our waste. Every little bit helps. Now, let's get back to the amazing world of the polar bear. Did you know that polar bears are excellent swimmers? They can enter the water feet first and use their large paws to paddle themselves along. Their fur even helps them stay afloat by trapping air close to their body. And when they emerge from the water, their fur shakes off the excess water, helping them dry quickly in the cold air. Speaking of their fur, it's not just for warmth and swimming. It also plays a role in camouflage. Polar bears are mostly white, which helps them blend in with the snowy Arctic landscape. This makes it harder for their prey, such as seals, to spot them coming. But their fur isn't always white. In some lighting conditions, it can appear brownish or yellowish. And young cubs have dark fur that help them hide from predators like polar wolves. And then there's their sense of smell, which is so powerful that they can detect a seal's breathing hole in the ice from miles away. Once they find a breathing hole, they wait patiently until a seal pops its head up for air, and then it's game over. Polar bears have been known to eat almost anything, including berries, bird eggs, and even walruses. But their favorite food by far is fat. They love the stuff. And since many of their prey animals, like seals, are full of fat, polar bears are perfectly adapted to take advantage of this food source. In fact, one polar bear can eat up to 30 pounds of fat per day. That's more than 3 times the amount of fat consumed by the average American adult. But not all polar bears are lucky enough to have access to so much food. Some populations have to rely on land-based food sources like berries and small mammals, which don't provide the same amount of fat. This means that polar bears in these areas have to work harder to get the calories they need to survive. And that's just one of the many challenges that polar bears face in their fight for survival. Climate change, pollution, and human encroachment are all taking a toll on these magnificent creatures. But there is hope. With our help, polar bears can continue to roam the Arctic for generations to come. So what can you do to help? Well, for starters, you can make a donation to an organization that's working to protect polar bears. You can also spread the word about the threats they face and encourage others to make changes in their own lives that will reduce their impact on the planet. Every little bit helps. Polar bears are truly remarkable creatures. They're strong and fierce, yet gentle and caring towards their young. They're perfectly adapted to their environment and play a vital role in the Arctic ecosystem. Let's do everything we can to protect them so that future generations can marvel at these magnificent beasts. Want to discover more wild wonders like the polar bear? Subscribe to Animalverse and join us on the next adventure.